Welcome, everybody. This is Jeff Bessa, Charting Horse Value. And I got a special guest today, Dan Cronin, also known as Dr. Keeneland. Welcome, Dan.
Welcome. Thank you.
And Dan, you run the Fat Ball Guys website?
Yes.
Good. How are things going this year at Keeneland?
You know, the star plays have been great. We haven't got lucky yet though. Every time we catch a long shot, then we blow the pick four, or we get our single home and then we can't catch a long shot. So we're still trying to nail that one big one, but the star plays have really done well. So that's good because I like to bet straight, especially at Keeneland, and I bet really heavy on the star plays. And the gray blur the other day on Saturday was a huge one for us. The turf horse in the fifth that ran last to first and paid $10. So that really helped the cause.
Nice. I've done really well at Keeneland this year. Saturday, I completely crushed. I hit the 21-1 shot. Was it race 7?
Well, Eben.
Yeah, Eben. And then we had that. I was in a pick 5 with George Bryant, and we went too deep. We had the 6 and the 10, and they ran first, third. I missed that exacta barely. Anyway, so they're coming down the stretch, and I got my eyes on the 10, and the 10's coming up the middle, and I'm like, 10's coming. They're like, where? He's coming. Okay, he's ducking to the inside. He ducked to the inside, which I knew was a good move on that track that day. And then all of us, like 5 of us all around the table, we all got into a 10 chant. 10, 10, 10. The 10 storming up. We're the only one shouting 10 in the entire Lone Star Bar and Grill. And it comes home at 21-1. That's a good way to start a pick 5.
Yeah, it is. I had him in the pick 5. I took a bunch of them, but then I blew it because I didn't have the last race, so I was a little frustrated by that.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Every time I catch a long shot, I can't finish.
I know.
It's like, my God, and then Friday they had to drag me out of Keeneland. I was almost on my knees. I bet way too much on the 4 of Chad Brown's. And I had so many different bets with him. I had a monster turf pick 3. I couldn't believe he got beat, especially by that Canadian horse. I was not happy with the ride. I love Pratt, but I wasn't happy with the ride. I would much rather have turf horses come from the back. When he broke and then stalked, I was like, oh man, it's hard. It's just so hard at Keeneland to stalk, put the speed away, and then hold off all the closers, right? But he did. He held everybody off. That was a logical horse. So it's like, well, okay, the one that dove to the inside, he was done. He was treading water. The California horses weren't running as usual. And I'm like, well, there's nobody else. And I see the 2, and I'm like, well, he can't go by me. And bam, right on the wire. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And of course, everybody around us thought we won, but I've seen too many races. I was like, no, he didn't. He didn't. And we got beat. And then they showed the slow motion, and they're all like, oh, what a sick beat. I'm like, story of my meat.
Yeah.
Like every time I got a big hit coming. This far again, but I think we'll get them. There's some more good bets this week. We'll find them.
Yeah.
I love the Keeneland meet. I wish they'd run 40 days at Keeneland.
It's too short.
It
is. Or run, especially in the fall, run a longer fall meet. They give up the early fall to Churchill. I don't understand that, but
Churchill stole it from Turfway.
Yeah.
And then Churchill don't even really want it, and Keeneland won't run more. It doesn't make any sense.
They do have the sales.
It doesn't make any sense.
Sales, that's part of the reason, but
I think Oakland's hurting Keeneland right now too.
Yeah. Although Oakland is definitely losing a lot of horses to Keeneland. I'm doing Oakland.
It's like killing both fields.
Yeah, exactly. So, by the way, anyone watching, I'll be at Oakland all weekend. I'll send another tweet out. But if you're there, I'd love to meet you, have a beer. So I'll be at Oakland all weekend.
Nice. Well, I'll be at Keeneland, so same thing. Anybody there? I'll be in my lawn chair, out on the apron, all the way to the right. I'll be the one with UCLA gear on. Nobody else will have it on.
That's a fact.
I always get what's that? Why are you wearing that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, UCLA. That's how Dan and I met. Dan's brother is the head coach at UCLA, and I'm a UCLA alumni. I graduated back in 1989. So we're both UCLA fans, and especially basketball, football too, but they're not as good. So
right.
and then of course it's baseball right now. I love baseball. It's probably my favorite professional sport. I got my team on Giants on for baseball. They're playing great.
I like watching UCLA baseball. That's the cool thing nowadays with everything. You can get it.
You can get it.
Old days I couldn't watch it. Now I can watch it. It's great.
Oh yeah. They're not quite as good this year. At least they didn't start off too good, but boy, they got some nice unis. Really nice.
I like the fact they get fans too. When I played college baseball, there was about 20 people there. So now you get, these big time schools, they get 5,000-10,000 at every game. It's cool.
Right. Yeah. So yesterday at Parks, I had good days at Parks and Turf Paradise, but yesterday at Parks, I hit the 16-1 shot. And then if you bet my top selection in all 10 races, which would be, say $20, let's say $20 a race times 10, that costs you $200. That's just flat betting, no intelligence whatsoever. You would have got back 700.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I had a day. I had 5 winners out of 10 races, including a 16-1 shot. I had a day. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully we can keep it going this weekend. But we're going to be talking today a little Oaks and Derby action. And, which is, I've already got strong opinions, and I'm sure you do too. So want to get into it?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So I'll let you start. We'll go with the Oaks. I'm going to pull up the past performances here. I'm just going to look at them while we're talking. Who are you? I guess, who do you think is like the most likely winners in the Oaks?
I think the Oaks is very straightforward. If anybody wins besides these 4 horses that I'm going to yell out, Kathleen O, Secret Oath, Nest, and Echo Zulu, I will be absolutely shocked.
I agree.
Shocked if anybody else wins.
Those are the top 4. And I totally agree with you. Of those 4, the one I like the least is Kathleen O.
Yeah, I'm with you for a couple reasons. Number one, I'm never big on Gulfstream 3-year-old fillies.
Okay.
They just in the Oaks, for whatever reason, over the years, the Fairgrounds fillies have always done better. The New York fillies never get bet, and they've always done better. It's just I don't know why. The Gulfstream Colts over the years have done fine in the Derby and in all the sprints and all the other stuff when they come up here. But for whatever reason, the fillies just have never done a great thing. And, maybe she's a superstar. I think she's facing one that's bred. I like Nest the best.
Me too.
Now, I love the breed, and I'm not, people that know me know I am not a breeding guy. I don't believe in it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But in this particular case, Nest is bred to run all day long. She's got the style to run all day long, and she's going to get the jump, I think, unless Jose Ortiz rides her bad. She's going to get the jump on the rest of them because Echo Zulu's going to go. I think there's going to be pressure on her. Maybe she's a star and just keeps going like Serengeti Empress, and nobody thought she'd keep going, and she did. But I think Kathleen O is going to be out the back. And I think the same thing with Secret Oath. She's going to be out the back, and they're going to both try to make their runs from way, way back, where I think Nest is going to lay about maybe 3 lengths off of it. And if she gets to the lead, I don't think they're ever going to go by her because she's not going to stop. They're going to have to run her down, and I don't think they will. I think she's going to assume the lead at the top of the turn, or I mean the top of the stretch, and I think the price is right too. I think you're going to get about 4 or 5 to 1. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to watch the tote really close. I think Kathleen O is going to take a lot of money.
Yep.
I think Echo Zulu is going to get a little dismissed. And she definitely didn't run her best race in the Fairground Oaks, but I think she'd had some training problems because that was her first start of the year.
She's had a lot of problems in the winter.
Yeah. So she, obviously got a late start, missed some training time. And, by the way, should never have been 1 to 9. I don't understand that. But she still won. And the time was 142 and 3. Pretty legit.
I was surprised the numbers were so low.
I know. I don't get it. And the numbers are low on it, but I'm looking at the clock, and I think this horse gets a great trip. I think the wild card horse, and I assume this horse is running, but I think she has to draw in, is it's the Adari Manor. Okay. Adari Manor is the Santa Anita speedball who ran this is the former Baffert horse who's went to Yachteen, lost the Santa Anita Oaks by a neck, but ran damn good. And was dominant in the Las Vergenas Stakes. I think that horse is very, very interesting. It will probably be a pretty darn big price. But if that horse runs, Echo Zulu is going to face some pressure.
Yeah, and You Girl's going to run early too.
Yeah.
And Hidden Connection won't be far back. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think this is going to be a legitimate pace. I don't see Echo Zulu walking on the lead. And hey, I love Echo Zulu. We got all the money on her at Saratoga. When I got the call that this was, some super freak, and it's funny. Usually when I tell people that, the horse goes off even money. I even told Swifty that, and the horse still went off 4 to 1. I was like, what is going? Nobody's betting on this horse. Something's wrong. Did I get bad information? I got the groom texting me on how much did you bet and all this stuff, and she just went like a thief in the night and has never even been close to losing till she had her problems and barely held on in the Fairgrounds Oaks. Maybe the second start she's just so good they never catch her. I could see that happening, but I think the price is going to be right on Nest, and I think they're going to bet Kathleen O, and I think they're going to bet the Lucas horse, Secret Oath. I don't know. I haven't seen a morning line. Have you seen anything? I've seen 100 of them on the Derby. I haven't seen anything on the Oaks to see, what they decide with who they're going to make favorite. I think Nest is going to be third or fourth choice. And that's kind of why I liked her even more. But I'm a big Oaks Derby double and Oaks Woodford Derby pick 3 guy.
Yeah.
So I'll probably use all 4 of them a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm definitely going to make bigger ones with Nest and try to clock it.
Well, I think I'm going to toss Kathleen O, and I might toss Secret Oath. So Secret Oath is the problem. I got Secret Oath is Dwayne Lucas. Okay, I don't think he's at his best anymore. I think this is a really nice filly, but he's raced her nonstop without a break since the beginning of October. He's put 7 races in her, and I think she's over the top. I think she ran incredible in the Honeybee. By the way, she got beat badly by You Girl last November in the Goldenrod at Churchill. But then she, ran off 3 incredible races at Oaklawn, and I think she peaked, and she regressed a little bit in that everyone thought she got a bad ride. Maybe she did. She's going to get a new jockey here. But she didn't run that. She should have won that Arkansas Derby if she was at her best. And
the other thing is, I'm not sure. The great separator with Colts is always 1.25 miles. The great separator with fillies is 1.8 miles. And I'm not sure she wants 1.8 miles. What I saw in the Arkansas Derby was a horse that made a big run like she always does. And it wasn't good enough to go by Cyberknife, but she launched past the whole field and then she stopped.
Yep.
And she does that against the fillies. Nest isn't going to stop.
Yeah.
Kathleen O's not going to stop. Echo Zulu might stop, but she's going to swoop up there and then hang again. And I'm not sure she ever goes by anybody. So I'm with you. She's probably my third or fourth horse. I'm more Nest, Echo Zulu, and then the other two. I just honestly can't find. I've been digging and digging, trying to find a long shot because there's plenty of them in the Derby. I really can't find anybody.
Yeah, the only one, and I don't know what to do with the Yakteen horses now because he's had them for a full month now, 5-6 weeks. So, how are the Baffer horses going to run this weekend with all the, this is still going to be quite a bit of pressure.
Well, remember, Jimmy Barnes is still there.
Oh, that's true.
He's in the same stall with the same food, with the same assistant trainer.
All
so
right.
I don't know how much of it'll change.
So, I mean, that's why I like that Adari Manor. I think that horse might get dismissed, and that horse might be legitimately good.
It should be a big price if she gets in.
Yeah, if she gets in, I think she is a threat. And then You Girl, I really like that horse. Man, I like that horse. But that horse, I was looking at the past performances, and that horse doesn't want to go 1.1 miles. And that horse has always given up ground late in the stretch. So I don't think that horse can get it done. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's Nest, Echo Zulu, and my long shot, that Santa Anita horse, Adari Manor. But
now I'll give you one completely off the wall horse.
Okay.
And she was off the wall at Turfway the day she won. She was 52-1 when she won the Bourbonnette Oaks. Is Candy Raid. She's going to be probably 100-1. I mean, she's going to be the longest shot on the board. But if you're betting tries and supers, she will get the distance, and she's going to be coming from way, way back. And as those other ones all start to quit, she might be able to squeak in there third or fourth and really make your try or super. It's somebody that, everybody's looking for these bombs for third. If you're making a bigger ticket and you're adding all these long shots, don't overlook her because she made an unbelievable move at Turfway.
She did.
And they were not winning like that at Turfway from way, way back. They just weren't on the new Tapeta. It wasn't the same as the old Poly where they were coming from dead last. And this one just came out of nowhere. I didn't have her. I didn't use her on a ticket that day. But if you throw out that race, remember where she's from. Fairgrounds. I know she didn't run very well, but she's from the Fairgrounds, which is what we're looking for. Fillies from the Fairgrounds. And there you go at 100-1. To me, you got to just put her on the bottom of your try and super and hope one of your main horses win. And you see this horse storming down the center 5 lengths behind everybody going, oh God, get up for third. It's worth it. It's worth a couple bucks to put a horse like that on your try or super.
I like it. Nice pick. All right. Well, we're in mostly agreement on that Oaks. So, and by the way, I love that Woodford. I actually don't play the Oaks Woodford pick 3, but I love that Woodford Derby double. So I'll do the Oaks Derby double, and then I'll do that Woodford Derby double. So let's talk. Let's switch gears and let's talk about the big one, Kentucky Derby. I'll let you go.
Okay. Well, I'll just start at the top with everybody else.
Okay. Let's go through.
Epicenter's obviously the horse to beat.
Yeah.
Now, years ago, I started looking at the John White 9 strikes, and I kind of adjusted them for myself, added a strike, and I've been using that ever since. I just think it's a neat thing to look at. You can Google John White's 9 Kentucky Derby strikes. It's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
What he does. And it's just legitimate, normal, common sense stuff. But the one thing is, if they got 2 strikes, they just don't win. I mean, I think 2 of them in 30 years have won with 2 strikes or more. And it's pretty cool that, you can just go down and just look at his stuff and just check off who's got what. And it makes it kind of interesting. And Epicenter, for what it's worth, has 0 strikes. So he's got the 6 races, which I don't think that's that big of a deal to have 6 races nowadays, but he's got them. He's never been passed in his last 2 starts in the lane. That's a big thing. He doesn't want anybody that's giving it up in the lane. In the last 2 starts, only the last 2 starts, he's been a mile and an eighth or further. He's got tactical speed. He's not making any changes with blinkers or geldings or anything like that. He's got his rider. And I think the pace is going to be fine, even if early voting goes in the race. I think he proved it that he can lay third. I would rather have this horse draw to the outside, a lot like Big Brown, a lot like American Pharoah did, to where he can just sit second or third, 3 wide, and if he's good enough, he's going to win and not get in any trouble at all. But I'm not sold on him that his numbers are not that high. I'm a big numbers guy. His numbers are not that high that I would single him or be excited to have some pick 5 with just him. Like I singled American Pharoah, I singled Smarty Jones. There's horses over the years. I singled Street Sense, but I just don't think this year's a race that you can say that's the winner, that's who I'm taking, and that's it. I just don't think it is. I think you need to have a couple of them, but I think Epicenter is where you start. Where do you think you start?
You start with him. First of all, I know the Asmussens pretty well. When I was owning horses, Cash Asmussen, Steve's brother, former jockey, he trained a couple of horses for me. Anyway, the way they train horses, first of all, they race them into shape and they teach them to rate inside. They're very, very relaxed, intelligent horses. And I mean, I agree with you. Obviously, if you got post 16, that'd be fantastic. But I wouldn't be afraid if this horse got the 3-hole. I think this horse can get like a California Chrome kind of trip.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Very tactical. This horse can go to the lead. This horse can come from 1 or 2 lengths out of it. This horse will rate. I mean, I think this is a very, very tough horse. And
here, I'll read you this real quick with people that always tell me, well, I want a dead closer in the Derby. I start laughing. Here's 04, starting with, let's just start 03, funny side, tactical. Smarty Jones, tactical. Barbaro, tactical. Big Brown, tactical. Super Saver. I'll have another. California Chrome, American Pharoah, Nyquist, Always Dreaming, Justify, Maximum Security, Medina Spirit. Every one of them ran the same. They were 1, 2, 3, 4. They were right on the pace. They were tactical. They went into the lead and they won. They didn't come from 100 lengths back.
Street Sense came from far back.
Who's that?
Street Sense came from far back.
Yeah, Street Sense was the only one that came from dead last. Yeah. Swooped up the rail. He was in 07, and Mind That Bird was 09, which was the catastrophe. But I think a lot of the 09, and 10 and 11 stuff was when they were all poly track out west. They were switching back to dirt, and I think a lot like Pioneer of the Nile got all screwed up because he was running on poly track. And I think if they would have had that horse on dirt all along, he'd have won that Derby. But that's why they went back to it ultimately, because the California horses weren't winning. And as soon as they went back, I'll have another one. Boom, boom, California Chrome, American Pharoah. They all started winning. Right. So, but they all seem to win a certain way, and they all got the same style that Epicenter's got. So to me, that's the perfect style to win the Derby, especially since they don't allow all these song and a prayers to run anymore. Those sprinters aren't in the race anymore because they're not getting points for some sprint at, in the hopeful or something. They don't get points, so they can't get in.
No, and the pace has been very moderate in the last few years.
Yep.
Authentic went pretty fast, but that doesn't count. That was in October or September, whatever.
Right. Yeah, that don't count.
They're basically been very moderate fractions lately. And then the 2 speedballs, Classic Causeway, Forbidden Kingdom, are running. The pace looks moderate again. And
yep. Unless early voting goes and Mike Smith decides to pull a Palace Malice or Bodemeister, because he's been known to do that. I mean, if he takes Nabia and just starts doing this.
Yeah. Right? Well, I think the horse that's going to be on the lead will be Messier.
And he could be.
Yeah, he'll be on the lead, and then I think early voting will be right there if he's running, and then Epicenter and Taba and all them running in that
Yep.
next flight.
Right. Well, the next horse I was going to talk about was Zandon.
Okay.
Now, people that follow me on Twitter know that I got this big bet. When I was in Vegas for the Gonzaga UCLA game, we were at the bar. Everybody's asking me, do you have any winner bets? I said, you need to bet on Zandon. We looked it up, went over to the Win, went over to a bunch of different places looking to get somebody to take our bet. One place took it at 89-1. So we were all betting our 50s and hundreds. So we all got 89-1 on Zandon. Then I came home and it was the first pool on Twin Spires, which I normally don't bet, but I saw 56-1 and I was like, how the heck would it? Went on and bet another 50. So I've got about 16,000 coming if Zandon wins. So I don't need to bet on him in the Derby, obviously. But I'm praying that he doesn't draw inside.
Okay.
Because again, I want that trip we just talked about.
Right.
And 3 races back, he got it. Only a length or 2 back. I don't want him sitting 16th. And if he can do what I'll have another did from 18 or 19, just let him run. Pratt's good at just letting him run. Come over, maybe you're 7th or 8th, but you're only 4 or 5 lengths out of it. He can win. If he's 16th, I'm dead. So that's what I'm praying for with Zandon. He's got the numbers. He's got only 2 starts, which I love. I love the 2 preps.
Me too.
He's got the 103 Briz and the 98 Buyer. Both numbers are going up. No matter which ones you like better, they're going up, and that's the main thing. And I love Pratt, so I think he's going to get a great ride. It's just a matter of can he get the trip. I'm a little nervous about the trip, but at least I don't have to bet on him, right? I don't have to do anything. If he wins, I'm celebrating. So I can avoid him in my own, personal plays in case he doesn't run and bet other bets, almost protecting myself.
I like Zandon a lot underneath, definitely. Notwithstanding, obviously, I hope you crush your bets, but in that Mo Donegal race, the Remsen, they went so slow early.
Yeah.
And then in the Bluegrass, that horse was way back. He made obviously an incredible run, very courageous, splitting horses, drawing away. But they went 150-1. I know one of the strikes has got to be you run a mile and 1/8 under 150 on John White's strikes.
No, he doesn't have any times on there.
All right. Well, I like it when they run under 150. He got beat bad by Epicenter in the Risen Star. And Epicenter was just in a gallop.
Yep, he did.
So my opinion is he's maybe a horse that could take second, but kind of reminds me of all those horses over the years that have run up seconds. Good horses.
No question. Timber Country, Menifees. I mean, there's so many of them that Curlin that just get too far back, and that's my fear. But I think if you're making tickets, pick 3s, pick 4s, things like that, it's hard to not take him at all. That's what I would have a tough time leaving him off completely if I was making those kind of bets.
Yeah. All right, I'll go with the next horse, and I'm going to throw this one out just because I feel like he's getting a little disrespected, and I don't love this horse, okay? But it's White Abario. I feel like everyone thinks Charge It won the Florida Derby. He didn't. This horse won it, and this horse ran awesome in the Holy Bull. And in the Florida Derby, the horse was quite wide. I don't want this horse getting a wide trip. If this horse gets drawn too wide, I think it's over for him because he's not really fast enough to get to the lead. He needs to find a spot he can duck in. But this horse is going to be way better than his odds are. I think this horse is going to go off 15-1, 12-1, and has a legitimate chance. I mean, I don't love the horse, and I know people are really down on Safi coming out of Florida, and I get that. But he was a cheap horse, only a $40,000 horse. But I think this is a horse to really look at underneath.
Yeah, he's got the style. He's got two preps.
Yep.
The only strike of the John White strikes that he's got against him is he hasn't run 6 times. So I don't think that rule means anything anymore. It did 10 years ago. So in my mind, he's got 5 starts. That's plenty to me.
Exactly.
So in my mind, he's got no strikes. The only thing that because I do all these numbers all the time, only 3 out of, I think it's 22 years now, has a horse won the Derby that didn't have 100 Beyer or Briz, and he doesn't have either one.
Yep.
So he might be too slow.
Yep.
But if he's 8-1, 10-1, 12-1, to me it all comes down to your own budget. If you're putting 6 horses in your pick 4, he's got to be one of them. If you're only putting 2 in, then he's not one of them. Right. So I mean, he's one of them budget ones to me. I call them B horses, where if you find a single in the Woodford, or you want a single Jackie's Warrior in the Churchill Downs handicap, then you might be able to take 6 or 7 of them in here. And I always say, take a shot, right?
Yeah.
He would just be one of them I would take a shot with.
One of the things I look at is the final 3/8, and the final 3/8 was 40 seconds in the Florida Derby. Now he closed about a length and a half, so maybe he ran it in 39 and change. That's slow.
Yeah.
Now they went fast that race, but his Holy Bull was quick. You know, they came home pretty quick. Now I think that's a 2-turn with the early finish line. And he ran really well there. So, I mean, that's why I'm not a big fan of the Florida Derby this year, but I feel like at least this one is going to get dismissed. Whereas Charge It is kind of a big wise guy horse. Everyone's on Charge It. I'm off Charge It. I mean, when everyone goes that direction on a horse I don't like that much, I'm tossing.
I would be on Charge It in the Preakness, not in this field. I just too big of a field. I don't think he's fast enough. Doesn't have enough experience. But I could definitely see White Abarrio being on some tickets. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he improved. You're going to have to run a 105 Beyer to win. 100 Beyer Giacomo is not winning.
No,
there's too many horses with solid speed figures. You're going to have to run 105, and that leads me to the next horse of what in the world is Brisnet thinking versus Beyer on this Wood Memorial. Somebody's drunk, and I don't know which one's right. None of us do, but there's no way the Wood was 111 Brisnet and a 96 Beyer. Usually they're within a couple points of each other. You know, Brisnet's always a couple points higher, but not all the time. But it's never 15 points higher.
Well, Beyer does projections. So Beyer is going by who did he beat? How much did he beat him by? What did they run previously? And it's, that's how they come up with their figures. Whereas Brisnet is really going off track variance and the clock. Okay. So, Beyers are probably better typically, but
yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I do think so.
But
because they've got everybody in the Wood improving by 25 points. I mean, they got early voting improving 20 points, Modonegal improving 20 points. It's like, wait a minute.
I'm on board with it. I like it. 147-4. They ran a mile in 135-3. He was sitting 4 lengths back, so he was 136-3, maybe 136-4. And then they ran the finish in 147-4. I mean, that's legit. That's race time. Okay.
And I agree. And then again, the only strike against him is he's got 5 starts.
Yeah.
And again, like we just said before, that don't matter anymore. There's really no strike against the horse. Two preps. I love the 2 preps. I mean, this horse could be on the wire. He would not shock me at all if he didn't win.
Not at all. And I just like the top 2 finishers in here. early voting set the pace, and then ran hard to the finish line. I mean, that horse did not give up, and they opened up a little bit on the third place horse. Mo Donegal was super impressive. And this horse, won the Remsen. Now, there could be a little bit of an Aqueduct factor. He might really like Aqueduct.
Yeah.
He didn't run as well down there in that Holy Bull. He got beat by White Abario pretty convincingly. But I like the Wood Memorial this year. I hope they run early voting, because if they run early voting, I am using that horse.
I can't knock a 20 to 30 to 1 shot. He's going to be a big price.
Big price, and he's going to be up front within a length of the lead early, and solid horse. So maybe they don't run him, but yeah. So my personal opinion, I like the Wood this year. Everybody hates the Wood. Wood hasn't won a Derby in 30 years. I get all that, but this is the one year I actually like the Wood. All right, Tis the Bomb. You're a Turfway guy.
My Kentucky bias is going to come out here, but I think he's a great 30 to 1 shot to put on your tickets. People that followed Turfway knew this horse was a mortal cinch in both those races.
Yeah.
He can run. He reminds me of War of Will. That can run on anything. He's bred out of Hit the Bomb, but he's got Tis Now in the dam. So yeah, he's a little turfy, but he won at Ellis Park in one of the most electrifying maiden races you'll ever watch in a hand ride.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know it was Ellis Park. I get it. But at 30 to 1, you're looking for reasons to put him on your ticket, not take him off. So to me, I'm putting him on my ticket. He's got the buyer number. He's got the Briz number. He's got great seasoning with 8 starts. He can lay 5-6 lengths off of it. He doesn't need to be way, way back.
Nope.
He's actually got some tactical speed.
Yep.
And the one thing outsiders outside Kentucky don't understand is BJ Hernandez. People say, oh, he's just an average rider. He's just a C-type rider. He's not a C rider at Churchill. He rides Churchill as good as anybody anywhere. He's really, really good at Churchill Downs. He's not afraid of the rail. So if that rail opens, he will shoot up that fence. He's almost taken over for Corey Lannery with being scared to death of, oh God, BJ's on my horse. He's going to come zooming up the rail again, because he will do it. He don't care. He's not Le Peru. He's not going 10 wide. If he sees that rail, he's going straight through that hole. And I think that's a huge advantage at Churchill. He's the hometown guy. He knows that track, and he's not afraid. So if he's got any horse at 30 to 1, he's on my tickets. He's not in my top 3 or 4 horses, but I'm going to put him on some 50-cent pick 4s, some 50-cent pick 5s. He will be on a couple of, I like to call them my flyer tickets. He's going to be on one of my flyer tickets, because I do think he's the Giacomo of this race. If it melts and some off-the-wall horse wins, I think it might be this one.
I really like this horse. I was very impressed by the Jeff Ruby. Normally, the Jeff Ruby, I look at the winner and I'm just so unimpressed. They went 148-3. That's legit. He won easy. He got flattered when Tawny Port came back and won the Lexington. I don't like Tawny Port at all, but that's very flattering.
Yeah.
He has that one bad race, the Holy Bull. You know what? It happens. Mandaloon ran bad last year, and he had a bad race. And that bad race on the dirt is driving his odds up. This horse has the turf pedigree. I don't know if you've noticed, turf horses do well at Churchill. Barbaro,
exactly.
Big Brown, Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom came out of Jeff Ruby. The first time poly to dirt, sometimes the horses fire. I think this is a great long shot.
I agree.
Probably my best long shot of the race.
I agree. That's wild. We both got the same wild long shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, and I think he's going to go off long. I mean,
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of people saying he's going to run dead last.
Yep. 25 to 35 to 1. He'll be
Yeah.
in that range.
Now, a horse I tell you I don't like is Cyberknife. I'm going to take a stand against this horse. The only thing I like about this horse is Gunrunner and Brad Cox. Okay. I respect that. But I just don't think the Arkansas Derby was that good. And, he's going to be too short. I think he's going to get bet too much based off that victory. And I don't really like that race. So
I'm with you. I think it was the worst Arkansas Derby in my lifetime.
Yep.
And I'm 52 years old. Now, I don't remember them all, but it's the worst one I've ever remembered lining up, reading the form, going, gee, man, this is terrible. What a terrible field. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. The only thing I'll say is if you're going to take this horse, you got to take him for a couple reasons. Brad Cox.
Yeah.
You just blindly put Brad Cox on your try, and I'm not knocking that. I do it all the time.
Yep.
And if you do look at John White's stuff, he's got 0 strikes. And when you got 0 strikes, a lot of times they run better than people think. So that's 2 reasons to put him on. I think he's too slow. I don't think he's going to get that trip that he wants to get, that stalking trip. I think he's going to be further back because I just don't think he's that good.
Right.
But could he be a closing argument? I guess, but he ain't going to be 50 to 1. If he was 30 or 40 to 1, I'd say, oh, yeah, put him on your ticket. But what's he going to be, 10 to 1? I don't know. He's not one of mine that I'm going to put on, but I might put him in the try or super.
Yeah, I mean,
somebody's got to run 3rd or 4th. I don't think it'll be him, but
I think he gets shuffled back and he's just a non-factor. But
I agree.
But I don't like him, and I think his victories have all been easy. He hasn't had any tough victories, so he's going to face some serious adversity that he's never faced before. And, he got crushed by Epicenter, by the way, in the Lecomte. Epicenter ran a great race that way, lost, but
got absolutely crushed, completely outrun, was a non-factor.
And then he ran an optional claiming with Lasix, and then he runs a weak Arkansas Derby. So I don't like him.
Yep, I agree.
I'm just going down the thing. I don't like the Dubai horse. Not even going to touch it. I know I like Japanese horses. I bet the Japanese turf horse in the Breeders' Cup, and then of course the other Japanese mare won. But I don't like Dubai coming over here, and they can. Yep. No way I'm touching this horse.
No, to me it makes it an 18-horse field. Makes it easier.
Exactly. Then you get the Santa Anita horses, and I think this is the most controversial race to figure out. The 2 Baffert horses coming over, and they scare the crap out of me. What do you think of them?
Well, I've made myself promise after I lost about 80,000 when Authentic beat me, and then I let him beat me again in the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah.
And then I didn't take Medina Spirit, even though the numbers were staring at me that he was good enough. I still didn't take him. So I've lost 3 straight big day, big pick 4s and 5s because of Bob Baffert. I made myself promise that I'm never betting a big ticket again without him. So I'm putting both of them on my ticket more because I'm sick of losing to him than that I love these horses. John White don't like Taby at all. 3 strikes is a total elimination. But if you're a numbers guy like I am, I'm staring at these numbers going, Shemini Christmas. He looks just like Justify.
He does.
But Justify beat a bad field. This isn't a bad field. And I'm scared to death Mike Smith's going to go 45 and 108 and burn the horse up. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I like you said, I'm in a quandary with this horse. The numbers say you better take him. The Baffert factor says you better take him. But being a handicapper for 40 years, I'm going, there's no way a 2-start horse can win the Kentucky Derby.
That's what I think too. You got the 2 starts only. He's going to finally. He's not. I don't think he's going to be that close to the lead. So he's going to face some adversity. The only way he wins this race is if he's just that good.
Yep.
Curlin,
early voting's not in the race.
Right.
If Baffert tells the rider on Messier, hey, if Tavia breaks close to you and you see him sending, don't you dare send, grab him and stalk and let him go. I don't know. The numbers, if all you like is numbers, you got to take him. But everything else tells you, God, man, there's 2, and he'd have to be the freak of freaks to win.
Yep.
But we've seen it before with Baffert. I mean, how many horses of a lifetime can a guy have?
It's unbelievable. $1.7 million purchase, and it's going to pay off.
Right, exactly. I mean, when you get all the best horses, I guess you're supposed to have them, right?
This one is supposed to be good, and but Curlin was a freakishly good horse as well, and Curlin lost.
Yeah.
So
clearly the best horse later on.
Yes.
I mean, maybe this is the best horse in the Travers and the best horse in the Breeders' Cup, but can he win now?
He's definitely he's going to be way too short to bet.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
And I think everybody in California is going to bet him. Every Raguson's player is going to bet him.
Yeah.
Because he ran a 7-5 rag. I mean, a 7 and a 5. I mean, that Derby winners don't always run 5s. So he's already run a 5.
Yeah.
If he runs another 5, he's going to win. I just don't think he can run another 5 in a 20-horse field. But oh man, this is the quandary one for me. It's going to bother me all the way to post.
Yeah, the other one, I really like Messier's race. Now, in that, I mean, that Messier was up close to the pace, and obviously Velasquez thought if he beat Forbidden Kingdom, he won the race. Even Yak team was surprised at how well Taba ran.
Right.
I think Messier is a threat. I mean,
he's definitely a threat.
And you're going to get a longer price on Messier.
Yeah.
So I think this is, I mean, he's the better one to bet. But there's the horse took 2 months off, ran in February, and didn't run again to Santa Anita. I don't know if that was intentional. That's very not usual for Baffert.
Yeah, he had to have some problems.
Yeah. So
he never gives him that much time off on the Derby trail.
Yeah. But those horses can, I mean, I think the 3 most likely winners are Messier, Taba, and Epicenter.
I mean, he had to work on January 30th, ran on February 6th, and didn't have another work till February 28th. So that's 22 days. He never gives them 22 days off.
Never.
So now Jimmy Mack, the announcer from Turfway and Ellis, swears that this horse was off in his back end last race. Now, I don't know enough about action to say that, but he's a pretty good horseman. He's been an agent for 30 years. He just point blank told me, he's like, Dan, if they correct that, he could run off the screen. He's like, because he was not right in the Santa Anita Derby. His whole back action was wrong. It was all off. I'm like, okay, I don't know how you fix that in 3-4 weeks, but he's like, trainers can do it with chiropractors and this and that. He's like, I'm just telling you, you better watch out for this horse if they can get him right. What does that mean? I don't know, but I'm with you. He's got the speed. He could go right to the lead. He could be just like Medina Spirit, turning for home and just never stop. He's going to have a Hall of Famer on him. I mean, and he's going to be, I mean, what do you think he'll be? 10-1, 12-1?
He's going to, I think he's single digit, but he might be like 9-1. I think he's 4th choice.
So I think, if you go 3-4 deep on a pick 3, pick 4, pick 5, you better think about putting him on your ticket is what I would think.
Absolutely. Any other horses that you want to mention? I got 2. I mean, I don't think this horse can win, but I do have him at 66-1. That's Barber Road. But I think that horse will grind all the way to the finish. Probably ends up running like 5th or 6th or 7th, but maybe you could hit the try.
He's the perfect super horse. He's going to be 30, 40 to 1.
I know. Of course, a lot of people will figure that out. And then the other one, I don't know if this horse, but this is the Cox horse that scares me, is Zozos.
That's who Jimmy Mack liked.
Yeah. I mean, he had to win. He had to run well in that Louisiana Derby. Did a pretty darn good job. It was only his third lifetime start. So he's going to improve. Is he going to improve enough to beat Epicenter? I don't know, but he's going to improve. And he was only a couple lengths back of Epicenter. So if you like Epicenter, you got to use this horse at least underneath.
Right. Yeah. He's a Mandalone type horse to me, that the Brad Cox factor. Now, I don't know who's riding this horse. Have they named a rider yet?
No, I don't know.
What's that?
I don't know. Giroux probably gets his pick.
Yeah,
he's riding the other as well?
Yeah, he's riding the other Cox.
Okay.
So
picking the wrong one.
Yeah, I was hoping they'd put Corrales on this horse, because Corrales is an up and coming guy around here. He's tearing Keeneland up when he gets a decent mount, and he can really send them. Or he could go to Santana maybe. There's some guys out there that are speed riders that, put this horse up in the race and see how good he is. But the Brad Cox factor, the fact that he's going to be 30 to 1, he's another one of them flyer horses that I have to have in my tries and supers. He's no doubt going to be on those tickets.
Yeah. I mean, the key to the try is you can use one or two of those favorites, but then you got to hit some bombs underneath.
Yep.
And, that's how I crushed the California Chrome try, because I singled California Chrome on top and I used Commanding Curve, thankfully, in second. And the Commanding Curve pick, I didn't handicap that. I just took that off Thorograph. They were really high on Commanding Curve. And I said, you know what? Yeah, I'll throw him in there. And he ran second at like 60 to 1.
I was looking for Dallas Stewart. He doesn't have a horse in.
I know.
Just put him on a Golden Soul, Commanding Curve. Just put him on. He always runs second or third.
Exactly. So
yeah, I usually in the Derby will take a logical horse. Most of the time he's 1, 2, 3, 4th choice, somewhere in there. Key him over some horses and put all those bombs in the 3rd, 4th spots and the supers and tries and try to cash, get one of them bombers down the lane. I mean, the year that Nyquist win, I took Nyquist and the DeSormo horse. What was his name?
He won the Preakness Exaggerator.
Yeah, that's it. I took those two with all these long shots, threw out Gunrunner, and he held on by this far for my 40 to 1 shot, come flying down the lane, and it cost me the try. But that's the way, to me, that's the way you got to bet. I mean, you have to try to get some bombs in that 2nd, 3rd, or 4th hole, and they could pay anything. I mean, especially when they won't allow 10-cent supers, which I think is the right move, because the lines are back to the shelves. You can't get through the lines at Churchill if you have 10-cent supers. So I think it's the right move. But that's why the super pays so much.
Right.
I mean, I wish on these big days they'd make the pick 4s $1, the pick 5s $1, but you'd have everybody screaming, but they'd pay double if you did.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, honestly, it's these cheap tickets make people spread way more than they should. They're actually playing very unprofitably. But they think, I can afford it. But the problem is you're spending too much money, and you're going to hit combinations that aren't going to pay that well. But the Derby's different. The Derby, you can spread and crush.
Yeah.
It's only 20 horse field we're going to see all year.
And that's a whole different show. I wish they'd run more of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand why the Breeders' Cup won't allow 20 horse fields. It makes no sense to me. Get rid of the dirt mile, and you'd have 15 to 20 horses in the sprint and the classic.
Well, the sprint I could see it's a pretty short run, but the classic, you got that really long run into the first turn.
Yeah, why can't you have 20 horses?
Yeah, you can in the classic for sure. But the sprint, that might be asking too much. If it was a straight sprint, a straight 6 furlong sprint, yeah, absolutely. You could run 25 horses.
Well, that would
Yeah.
be cool if they
Yeah.
would ever do that somewhere.
Yeah.
Do that at Kentucky Downs.
Yeah.
They the greatest meet of all time. Let's make it better. Just
I'm gonna
run
try
a
to
6
go this year.
furlong sprint straight down the hill.
I think I'm going to try to make it to Kentucky Downs this year. I've been wanting to go and check it out. Man, it looks beautiful.
Let me know because I love going down there. It's 3-hour drive for me. I hop in the car and I'm gone.
All right. Well, yeah, we got to do a horse trip together at some point. It was great seeing you last summer in Saratoga.
Yep.
But look forward to hanging out with you again in the future. Really, thanks you for coming on the broadcast today. I think we put out a lot of good information.
Yep. Well, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop the broadcast here. Thanks, everybody. And shoot us a text or email if you got any questions. Take care.